Hey YouTube, it's Break a VKS Day. Sean, Less Lethal for Dummies. So this is my VKS. 1100 PSI. Merciless Lethal DK Spencer Power Barrel. I will be using BK Kinetics. These are 8.1 gram. I'll just confirm that. This particular VKS, mine, as it sits, is the regulator is bypassed, and also, as I've said before, I have been running the factory Pepperball O-ring in this. It's been holding up just fine. So this thing cranks out like 47, 50 joules on an 850 PSI tank the way I had it set up. And I've had no problems with that O-ring, with the factory heat core O-ring or air valve O-ring. I got a sneaking suspicion though, once I jam 1100 in here, that's probably gonna fail first, before I even get to trying to break my firing pin. So we'll go through it one step at a time. This video might be, it might seem out of sequence because I'm not sure I'm going to be able to cram it all into one day, based on what happens here first. So let's put it on the table and I'll just break it down quick and show you what's going on here. All right, so I'll just take my handguard off here. This is just something I've been experimenting with. We won't get into that. We're here to break a VKS, but let's see what is hidden inside this VKS. Okay. DK Spencer Merciless Lethal Power Barrel. Yeah. I should go get the detents for it. This was part of another project, so I will get those before we get going. But so this is a metal detent barrel. It is a smooth bore. I'm going to be firing the BK Kinetics. Whoa. We'll weigh a couple of them here for you, and we will send them through the barrel. These are advertised as bore match to this particular barrel or 685 barrels in general. I have yet to try these in a 686 or a 687, and I imagine they will do very well in those as well. But they are specifically marketed as matched for this barrel. So let's go here. Oh, God, I'm clumsy today. 8.08. Not gonna weigh them all. 8.1. I think the bag was marked 8.1, so 8.1. 8.1. You get the picture. They're 8.1 grams. So we're going to use that to calculate the joules, because honestly, I don't think I've ever crammed 1100 PSI into my VKS. It's just, there's no need to really. This is more just a, let's see if I can break it and if I can fix it and make it better, because I have been using something much different than probably most are used to or have seen, and there may be some people using it, and I know some people I've talked to about it and know about it, but the factory bolt in here in this VKS has about 200 rounds on it. It is factory secured. I didn't modify it, touch it, twist it, I haven't even checked it in a while actually, so it may already be on the verge of failure. But that's the whole point of this test, is to break it, right? So break it and make it better. Let's do a little bore test here. I don't know which way is easier. Let's do this way. So they all go through very smoothly. Now let's try this way. Ah, there, just touched my finger. So they form a very nice kind of vacuum seal. They move very slowly through the barrel with my finger in the end, but without a finger in the end, they go through very easily. They just drop right through, so that's on the money. So yeah, that's about all I want to tell you right now. Let's wind this up and see if that factory O-ring holds. That'll be the first issue, I think, that we come across here. And then I'll obviously have to change to the upgraded O-ring. And at that point, I'm going to install John Wixon's Xring in this VKS. So let's get going. First things first, I will put the detents back in there. Like that. It's important when you put these in, guys, that when you push this clip over, that you actually tuck that forward piece up over the other lip. If you don't, they'll break when you shoot. Ask me how I know. All right, so we will load that guy up there. Oops. Let's just throw this handguard on anyways. BK Kinetics, 8.1 grams. Wish me luck. Oh, safety glasses. Who's betting that heat core O-ring is gonna fail? I think if I was a betting man, I'm gonna say it's not gonna handle 1100 very well. All right. It did take it. Let's try that again. $402. This is louder than I expected. Usually the rifles are a little bit quieter, so I'm just gonna toss some muffs on here. That's 2 shots. 426. And I did say I was gonna shoot the pan with the BKs. I don't want to because I'm pretty sure they're gonna break. And they look so pretty, but let's go for it. Plus, I'm not sure my Kevlar can handle any more abuse. I'll fire a couple more on the chrono. And then I'm just gonna start banging off rounds and see if I can get that, either the firing pin or that O-ring to fail. And honestly, guys, I'm still surprised that O-ring is holding up. I don't know. I just don't know. Okay, Betty Crocker. I'm not curious how accurate my laser is. I just tossed this on here because I was moving it from marker to marker. Or 10. Clearly, it put a hole straight through the pan. It barely even dented the pan. It literally just put a hole straight through it. We'll put one up. Let's put one down low here. Yeah, it doesn't have a problem doing that. Honestly, I mean, it's clear the damage that they do. Yeah, it just rips holes in it. So maybe I'll save a little bit of this pan since the pan store burned down. I'll save a little bit of that pan for something else that I got coming up here. So let's just bang off some rounds and see if I can fail this thing. There you go, broke the firing pin. Or that was the E-core O-ring, aero valve O-ring, depending on how you refer to it. Didn't take very long at 1100 PSI. Like I mentioned, there was already 200 rounds on the factory bolt, so it may have already been in an advanced state of failure. But let's go tabletop this guy and see what we find, guys. Alrighty, let's see what is going on in here. So obviously I took off some of the easy stuff first for you guys. Let's pop the lower off here. Ooh. Alrighty. Let's start with the trigger. Uh-oh. I detect some metal shavings in there. So I'm thinking the pin broke. I am thinking the pin broke. My Allen keys here. Hopefully I didn't tear it up too bad. But it wouldn't be the first time. And I seem to have lost my little donut there, but whatever. I'll live. Tell you one thing, when you see metal shavings, generally that is not good. Oh yeah. See the flakes on there? So, what do we do next here? Let's lose this bolt spring for now. Looking inside there, I don't see, you see how freely the bolt's moving? So, I don't know yet. I don't see anything out of the ordinary looking at it from here, but obviously we have to go a step further and bust our air chamber out of there. I need a bigger Allen wrench than that. Any bets on what broke yet? Take our charge handle out of there. I'm just gonna inspect each part as it comes out here to see if I can spot any metal shavings anywhere. So, this all seems good. And I don't see anything wrong, no metal splinters there. Looking down there, it looks all clean except I see a big dog hair down there. Let's push this guy out of here. And I actually need my barrel swab to push this out. My fingers can't take any more abuse. All the wrench in these last couple of days. I don't really see anything down there, but since it's out of there, I'll give her the old deck, swab the deck. Not much goes wrong with that anyway. So, here we go. What do we got? It was the O-ring. You can see it down there at the end. And it got sliced good. It got sliced good. You can see that nick in the side of it there. So, there's the proof. It was working good at 850, and surprisingly, it held up that long on 1100. I mean, yeah. Let's check this firing pin now that I got it apart. I can't just leave well enough alone here. So let's see if it's loose at all. Nope, it's tight. So this is going to be a good test once we get that O-ring swapped out here. But I don't know where the metal shavings came from. I don't see anything obvious. All right, well, let's crack this guy open here. 3/16, and oh yeah, she greasy. I need a wrench. Inside, don't see anything wrong. Let's grab my Wixon tool here. So John Wixon sent me this little tool here that makes installing your heat core or air valve O-ring easier. So here is your standard mil-sig. You can see it's square on the outside and has a rounded inner. We are not going to be installing that. We are going to be installing, pardon my dog's barking, this Xring, which is going to be hard to see, but this outside sort of rib here is kind of emulated on the inside here. There, you can kind of pick it up there. So it actually traps lubricant, and has benefits over your standard mil-sig Vulcan O-ring. So one word of advice that I can give, and John has given me as well, is when you initially install this Xring is to use plenty of lube. So remove the bottom of the air chamber. Tool goes up like that. And you can see it makes a very nice location. And oh my gosh, I am so thick. This tool is for the FSC bolts. Oh, it's too short. Well, Sharpies work well on the VKS air chamber, and so do paintbrushes, because I don't know where all my Sharpies went. So the object is to push it up to the end, and so you have something to press that O-ring against so it doesn't want to just keep kicking out. So I will do my best to demonstrate it. Voila. I'm just gonna kind of work it, make sure that it is seated properly. I couldn't have gone better. Not my first rodeo, but having said that, I have struggled and still struggle sometimes to get those things in. So don't feel bad if it takes you many tries. So remember, plenty of lubricant. So I'm just loading it up here. And I just like to use the end of the actual oiler. Oh yeah, that's got plenty of lube and a dog hair to boot. Another thing I like to do is when I assemble these new, is I try to get a couple of good drops of oil on that pin right in the center, and kind of let it dribble down on the pin itself. You can see there, it's kind of slowly winding its way down. So I'll just confirm that it goes on smoothly. Give it a little break-in motion here. And I can actually see, if you look, lighting's terrible here. I'm inside today. That X-ring, sort of that rib in there, is actually stuffed with oil. And that is exactly the point of it. All right, well, let's throw this back together and get back to breaking the firing pin. What do I gotta do? Oh yeah, gotta put the end cap on here. Nope, not that one. Didn't really get a good bite on that. There we go. Doesn't have to be super duper tight. And I always check when I put this cap on. Sometimes the O-ring, that black O-ring, gets squirted out the side, or it looks a little, this dog hair. You'll see kind of an odd gap here. That means your O-ring probably didn't seat properly, and it'd be a good idea to remove it and try again, essentially. All right, put a little lube on these guys here. These are the chamber O-rings. Good enough. Put my bolt back on there. All right, stuff this guy down here. Just gonna push it in a little bit and get it started. Oops. Actually, see, this is a personal preference of mine. And not completely unnecessary, as I try to line this hole up with this hole right here. That is your inlet. So, I don't know. It's more of a thinking it does something, but I don't think it does. And the VKS, it's a little harder to do than it is in the FSC. I'll use some excess slop for my hands on there. For good measure, I'll put a couple of drops in the ASA. I get them right in the side there and kind of just let them weep in there, or wick in. Wick is the word I want. You can kind of spin it around. I do it on the other side. Oh yeah. Just slowly push this guy in. Start sending it home. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. I forgot to put the ASA charge handle in. I didn't back it up far enough. There we go. And actually, I'd always just check this before you go too much further. All is well. Put the castle nut back on. Use the armor's wrench. Tighten it down. Excellent. Regulator is next. Now, remember to push your bolt forward. Like that, before you plop your regulator back on. Now, the metal was a little concerning in there. But again, I don't see any place where it was coming from. I mean, maybe it just was angry about 1100 PSI. Nevertheless, let's just get roll. Like that crap out of there. All right, set this guy back on there. Only one Ugga on those guys. And slip your trigger arm back in. And since I don't know where the donut went, I probably left it off the last time I took this thing apart. Yeah, just slap your receiver back on. I do love that part about the VKS. I mean, the disassembly is really second to none. It is very slick. Oh yeah, there's no full auto. Safety works, blah, blah, blah. All right, let's get back to it. Let's break a firing pin. All right, guys, sad news to report. The pan did break my BK kinetic rounds, and I kind of expected that, especially moving as fast as they were. But you saw the damage they did. It was knocking some impressive holes in there, and it really wasn't deforming the pan at all. It was just punching holes through rather than sort of stretching its way through. That's to be expected, I think, at those higher velocities, but yeah, so I'm down 2. Lucky I got more, but I didn't bring more out, so I only got 8. I only got 8 left here. Now we're loading back up. Oops, that one went in a little bit crooked. That was my bad. Oh, come here. Oh, I know why. That one's missing the tip now. That's okay. Doesn't grab that bar quite. It's nice when the tip's gone. So I'll tell you what. Let's take that one out and put it down one more. Problem solved. Let's go for it. All right, so marker's back together. Xring is installed. I know John's watching. I would have loved to use the your little tool, but it didn't fit on the VKS chamber. I should have known, and now you know. Any case, Xring's installed. I believe I've put plenty of lubrication on there. Refilled my bottle to 3,000. 1100 PSI output. Have 8 BK kinetics loaded in there. And I've decided to make this part 1 of breaking a firing pin. Because I could cut out all the dribble of me taking the marker apart and la-da-da-da-da, but I think it goes to show that I am being thorough in my testing, and I'm taking all the necessary steps, and I'm not misleading anybody. So I try to be as transparent as possible, guys. And sometimes that makes these videos long, unfortunately. And if you skip through them to the good stuff, no bother to me. Okay, so we'll just fire off these 8 aired up 5, and we'll see. 426 was my tops, and I know I'm already gonna get the comments, oh, it's underpowered, whatever. That's just what my marker does. I don't know why. I've tried a different bolt and air chamber in there, no change. It is what it is, and I'm quite happy with that. I'm not trying to take down Buffalo, guys. 50 joules is plenty enough. On 850, this is 1100, and I haven't even done the calculations yet, so I don't know, so don't shoot me. Okay, here we go. Or 40. 446. So the factory O-ring, although, and here's something that just goes with my comment right there, that my marker was underpowered. Now I was running the factory O-ring. That can explain a lot, because the Xring is clearly putting up more power, but I don't have comparison to the Milsig, because I didn't have the Milsig Falcon O-ring installed in here. But power's up, and that's a good thing. So VKS, definitely want to install a Vulcan O-ring or a John Wixon Xring. because, yeah, it gave more power than the factory O-ring. So clearly it's probably losing some pressure maybe. I don't know the exact dynamics of how that O-ring might have been affecting the velocity, but clearly it is. Let's finish these off. Four, 34. Whoa, that one came flying out. 450. That one is unusually low. Sign of things to come, maybe? 426. $450, not sure. Usually a waiver like that, in my experience, has been a sign of the pin loosening, but I mean, I just checked it for you guys on video. It's still tight. Could it have come loose that quick? I don't know. But we'll just keep going. That was the last shot anyways. 444. Free air! Free air! Free air it was. Okay, well, there you have it. Broke a standard Pepperball air chamber, air valve O-ring. I think you guys have all experienced that by now, but for me, I think it's probably the first time I've caught it on tape. I've done it plenty of times, but it's always good to have some video evidence. So moving on, part two. Now that the O-ring's holding strong, I'm just going to continuously bang rounds into the trap at 1100 PSI. I may switch up the rounds from the BKs just to mix it up, maybe throw some HPs in there, and we'll keep going. So like and subscribe if you want to catch part two. It will break. Maybe not now, but it will break. I guarantee it. And if it doesn't break, it's gonna break. It always does. Get you on the next one.